Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast, the only show that breaks down the Grand Line one chapter at a time.
Today we are covering Chapter 213, VIP.
And let me tell you, this chapter redefines what it means to be a very important pirate. We're talking a 9-figure number, a brand new poster, and a direct message to the world government.
It seems defeating a warlord of the sea doesn't go unnoticed.
Noticed? They just put the whole world on notice. If you want to keep up with how a rubber boy from the East Blue becomes the most wanted man on the planet, make sure you're subscribed. It's the only way to follow the paper trail of a legend in the making. Now let's get into it, because this chapter is all about the aftermath.
The calm after the storm, in a way. The country is rebuilding, the rain has stopped, and the Straw Hats are finally getting a moment to breathe in the royal palace.
And first up is our doctor, Tony Chopper, who is just putting everyone else to shame. He's treated the whole crew, and one of the royal doctors is just staring at him, completely stunned.
The man says he's been a doctor for 40 years and has never seen anything like it. It's our first real external validation of Chopper's skill. We know he's brilliant because of Dr. Kureha, but this is a seasoned professional from a kingdom looking at Chopper's work and having his entire worldview shattered.
It's not just a compliment, it's like he's seeing a miracle. He's looking at Zoro, who was practically sliced into 3 pieces, and Luffy, who was poisoned, dehydrated, and impaled, and they're both already patched up and sleeping it off. This guy has probably seen 1,000 battle wounds in his 40 years. He knows what should and shouldn't be possible.
And this is what makes it so significant. We, the audience, accept that Chopper is a genius. But in-world, he's a blue-nosed reindeer that people mistake for the ship's pet. This moment establishes his credentials to the outside world. He's not just the Straw Hats doctor. He's a world-class physician whose skills are borderline supernatural.
And Vivi just proudly says he's from the Drum Kingdom, which is famous for its doctors. It's such a proud parent moment. Then Chopper does the best thing ever. He gets all flustered by the praise, yelling, "Shut up, you idiot, that doesn't make me happy," while literally pulling up a chair for the guy to sit closer to him.
It's his signature tell. The more he denies the compliment, the more you know it means to him. He's all bluster and insults, but his body language is pure, earnest happiness. He's a child emotionally, and he doesn't know how to process genuine praise without this defensive dance. It's adorable, but it also speaks to his isolated upbringing, where Kureha's form of affection was unconventional, to say the least.
He's the best. While Chopper is holding his impromptu medical seminar, we see Sanji and Usopp out in the city, grabbing supplies.
And Usopp makes a quiet but important observation. He sees everyone already working to rebuild Alubarna and just says how strong the people are.
That's the whole point, right? They fought to save a country full of people worth saving. People who don't just give up when things get hard. It makes their whole struggle feel that much more meaningful. This wasn't for treasure, it wasn't for fame, it was for this. For these people to have a future they could build with their own hands.
It's a thematic cornerstone of the entire arc. We saw the rebels and the royal army, both manipulated by Crocodile, ready to die for their vision of the country. Now that the deception is gone, that same fierce passion is being channeled into reconstruction. Usopp, who often represents the perspective of the everyman, is the perfect character to voice this. He sees their spirit and recognizes it's the same spirit that fueled Vivi.
It really drives home what they accomplished. They didn't just win a fight, they restored the heart of a nation.
They end up in the part of town that was destroyed in the fight between Smoker, Ace, and Luffy. It's a stark reminder of the forces that converged here. 3 powerful Logia and Paremsia users clashing in the middle of a city. The level of destruction is immense. It's a visual cue that the powers at play in this world are far beyond what a normal kingdom can handle.
Meanwhile, back at the palace, Zoro is doing exactly what you'd expect him to do after nearly being killed.
Of course he is. He says he can't consider himself stronger if he can't tap into the power he used to beat Mr. One whenever he wants.
That is the swordsman's mindset right there. It's not enough to win by the skin of your teeth in a moment of desperation. He needs to master it. He needs to make that peak his new baseline. It's a relentless pursuit of strength. This is so core to who he is. Remember after Mihawk beat him, his promise to Luffy? I will never lose again.
Exactly. In his mind, a victory that relied on a fluke, on a sudden moment of battlefield enlightenment that he can't replicate, is a kind of loss. It's a failure to control his own power. He sees it as a fluke until he can replicate it. That's a terrifyingly high standard to hold yourself to, especially when you're covered in bandages.
He's trying to figure out how he cut steel, the breath of all things. I think I remember his master talking about it. He didn't even fully understand it then, but now he's felt it. It's like he tasted this higher level of swordsmanship, and now he's starving for it. Anything less is unacceptable.
It's also our first real hint at what might be a precursor to hockey, this idea of sensing the world around you, of understanding the will or breath of an object. It's still esoteric and undefined, but it's a clear step up from just pure physical strength. Zoro is evolving, and he's forcing that evolution through sheer will.
And speaking of not taking it easy, Nami is in the royal library with King Cobra, and he's just giving her all the books. All of them.
A king's personal collection. Can you imagine the maps, the histories, the secrets contained in those volumes? For Nami, who wants to map the world, and for our crew in general, that's a treasure more valuable than gold. This isn't just some public library. This is the repository of a kingdom that has existed for centuries, one that guarded a poneglyph.
No kidding. Think about it. This library probably has nautical charts from before the current era, records of weather patterns on the Grand Line that no one else has seen. For a navigator, this is like a physicist getting to read Einstein's private journals. She's not just getting books, she's getting generations of accumulated knowledge.
And for the larger story, the implications are even greater. What secrets about the world government or the Void Century might be hidden in these histories? Cobra is granting them access to information that could be considered dangerous. It's another sign of his absolute trust.
And while all this is happening, we get this hilarious scene at the palace entrance. Chaka is arguing with a bunch of Marines who are demanding to search the palace for pirates.
And just as he's in the middle of this very serious defense of the palace's sovereignty, Sanji and Usopp just walk right up behind him with their shopping bags.
The timing is perfect. It's pure comedy gold. He turns, asks them, "Did you get everything you need?" like they're his kids coming home from the store, and then immediately turns back to the Marines and yells, "Can you prove there are pirates here?"
The audacity is magnificent. He's lying right to their faces with the evidence standing 5 feet behind him. Chaka, the jackal, one of the 2 sworn guardians of the kingdom, is now running interference for a pirate crew. It shows just how much their actions have changed the very definition of ally and enemy for the Alabasta leadership.
Sanji and Usopp just mutter that it's about to get real loud once he wakes up, and they are not wrong.
Cut to a palace bedroom and Luffy just explodes awake, roaring for 2 things, his hat and breakfast.
Priorities. Not where am I or did we win, it's where's my hat and where's my food. That's our captain. His 2 most important treasures. The hat from Shanks, the symbol of his dream, and meat, the fuel for his body. It's so beautifully, simply Luffy.
But Nami immediately brings the reality check, reminding him how close he came to dying. It's a good balance. Luffy's boundless energy is great, but the crew is there to ground him in the consequences. They are the ones who have to watch him push himself to the brink of death, and they don't let him just forget that.
Then Zoro walks in from his training and Chopper just loses his mind. "I told you not to take your bandages off."
And Zoro's response is so perfectly Zoro. They make it hard to move.
That's why they're on you, so you don't move. Chopper is going to have his work cut out for him with this crew. Being the ship's doctor is going to be the hardest job on the Grand Line. He's basically a full-time warden for 2 of his patients.
Then Luffy finds out he's been asleep for 3 whole days.
And his brain doesn't process 3 days. His brain processes, as Usopp helpfully calculates, 15 missed meals. The horror on his face is more profound than when he was facing Crocodile.
The stakes are finally clear to him. Not the collapse of a nation, not his own death, but the catastrophic loss of 15 potential feasts. It's such a funny and insightful moment into how his mind works. The abstract is irrelevant. The concrete, tangible loss of food is a tragedy.
Vivi, bless her heart, assures him dinner is being prepared, and then the door opens and in walks Terracotta, Igaram's wife.
Who looks remarkably like Igaram. The same hairstyle, the same features. It's uncanny.
So uncanny that Zoro, with his complete and total lack of a filter, just looks at her and asks if she's a crossdresser.
Vivi is mortified, but Zoro is genuinely just asking a question. He's a simple man. He sees a person who looks like Igaram in a dress, and he asks the logical question in his mind. There is zero malice, just pure, unadulterated curiosity. It's what makes him so funny in these moments. He has no social graces whatsoever.
It's incredible. Terracotta doesn't even flinch, though. She's the head servant, she's worked here 30 years, and she came prepared. She heard about Luffy's appetite and brought him fruit to tide him over.
Luffy tries to warn her. He says his appetite is no joke, and she just smiles and says she won't disappoint. A 30-year veteran of the royal kitchens, she's seen it all. She's probably served banquets for kings and visiting dignitaries. She thinks she understands a big appetite.
Or so she thinks, because the next scene is the royal dinner, and it is absolute chaos. Luffy is inhaling food so fast, the servers are literally sprinting to keep his plate full.
He then starts eating off everyone else's plates, which causes a chain reaction of everyone trying to eat their own food as fast as possible before Luffy can get to it. It's not a meal, it's a competitive sport.
It's a beautiful, stupid, perfect Straw Hat family dinner. Usopp tricks Luffy into eating a super hot pepper, Matsuge the camel is there for some reason, and the palace guards are just horrified at first. This is a sacred hall, and these hooligans are treating it like a mess hall on a pirate ship.
But then they see Vivi. They see her laughing, truly happy and relaxed for what might be the first time in years, and that changes everything.
The annoyance just melts off their faces. They see their princess, who has been through hell, carrying the weight of the entire country on her shoulders, finally getting to be a kid again with her friends. And they start laughing too. The whole room is just filled with joy.
That's the Straw Hat's real power, isn't it? It's not just about punching the bad guy. It's about the light and laughter they bring back to the places they save. They don't just liberate countries, they heal them. This scene is the proof. The stuffy, formal atmosphere of the palace is shattered by their chaotic energy, and in its place, genuine happiness blossoms.
They're infectious. That chaotic, joyful energy just spreads to everyone around them. It's what makes them so special. They remind people how to laugh.
After dinner, they all head to the royal baths, separated by gender, of course.
The guy side is immediate mayhem. Luffy and Usopp are racing to the water, slip and knock their heads together. Then they start this naked mock sparring, which seems to be a direct shot at Zoro,
who is just calmly helping bathe Chopper, completely unbothered, until he looks over and asks what on earth they're doing. It's another one of those wonderful family moments. Zoro, the stoic killer, is gently scrubbing the little reindeer's back.
And Sanji, naturally, is asking Igaram where the girls' bath is. Igaram is furious, but Cobra, the king, just tells him. He's like, it's over there, have fun.
The dynamic between Igaram, the protector, and Cobra, the laid-back dad, is hilarious. Igaram is ready to die to protect Vivi's honor, and Cobra is just enjoying the chaos these kids have brought into his life. He seems to understand that this is just part of their nature, and finds it amusing rather than offensive.
Over in the girls' bath, Nami and Vivi are having a much more serious conversation, but not before they spot the guys peeking over the wall.
Vivi is shocked, but Nami isn't surprised in the slightest. She just calmly announces a fee of 100,000 berry per person.
She is always on the grind. Even in a relaxing bath, she finds a way to turn a profit. It's a core character trait. She understands her crewmates perfectly and knows exactly how to monetize their foolishness.
And once the financial transaction is complete, she drops the real news. They're thinking of leaving Alabasta tonight.
You can feel the mood shift instantly. The party's over. The laughter and fun of the last few scenes come to a screeching halt. Luffy is healed. The Marines are gathering at the coast, and the Going Merry is exposed. It's time to go.
It's the harsh reality of being a wanted pirate crew. You can't stay in one place for long, no matter how much you want to. Their very presence endangers the kingdom they just saved.
If the world government finds out the royal family is harboring wanted criminals, they would be severe political repercussions.
Back on the men's side, Cobra is thanking them. The guys think he's thanking them for the peeping incident, which is hilarious, but he's thanking them for saving his country.
And then he does something unbelievable. He bows. The king of Alabasta, a direct descendant of one of the 20 founding families of the world government, bows his head to the floor in front of a group of pirates.
Igaram completely freaks out, saying a king shouldn't bow, and Cobra delivers one of the best lines in the series so far.
Status is good when we are clothed. In the bath, we are all just men. There is no king here.
Chills, absolute chills. He clarifies he's not thanking them as a king, but as a father, with a citizen's heart. That's an incredible level of humility and gratitude. He understands exactly what they did for him and his family. He's stripping away his title to show them the man underneath, the man they saved.
It completely recontextualizes royalty. He's showing them that beneath the crown, he's just a person, and as a person, he owes them an immeasurable debt. This action is a powerful thematic statement. We've seen corrupt royalty like Wapol, and we've heard whispers of the celestial dragons. Cobra represents a different kind of royalty, one based on duty, humility, and love for one's people. This bow is the ultimate expression of that.
It's a moment that earns him so much respect. He's not just a king, he's a great man.
After the bath, the crew regroups. They all agree it's time to leave tonight. The decision falls to the captain.
And Luffy, after a moment of serious thought, the camera zoomed in on his determined face, declares that they should have one more giant meal before they go.
And the entire crew just beats the hell out of him. It's the perfect punchline to an emotional chapter. Even in a serious moment, Luffy is still Luffy. His priorities remain unshakable, but it's also his way of processing. For him, a feast is a celebration of victory and friendship. It's not that he's not taking it seriously, it's that his way of honoring the gravity of the situation is with a party.
The crew doesn't see it that way, though. They just see him asking for more food, and bam, it's perfect.
But the chapter isn't over. We cut to another room where Chaka and Igaram are looking at something with grave expressions.
They're looking at 2 new bounty posters.
And we see them. The first is for Roronoa Zoro, his very first bounty, 60 million berry.
60 million for a first bounty? That is a statement. That's for defeating Mr. One, Dad's Bones, the most dangerous assassin in Baroque works, sure, but also for taking down 100 bounty hunters back at Whiskey Peak. The world government has been watching him for a while.
It's an astronomical first bounty. To put it in perspective, Luffy's first bounty was 30 million, and that was for defeating the 3 most powerful pirates in the East Blue. Zoro's first bounty is double that. It signifies that the government sees him not just as a subordinate, but as a major threat in his own right. They've identified him as the crew's primary combatant, alongside the captain.
They're not wrong, but man, 60 million right out of the gate. His reputation in the swordsman world's about to explode if it hasn't already.
But it's the other poster that changes the game entirely.
Monkey D. Luffy. Wanted, dead or alive, for 100 million berry.
He broke the 100 million mark. It's a monumental jump from his initial 30 million. This is not a standard increase. This is a statement of intent from the world government.
Super! This is it. This is the moment they go from being a problem to being a legitimate threat to the world order. You don't get 100 million berry bounty for being a nuisance. You get it for shaking the foundations. A jump from 30 to 100 million like that isn't an adjustment. That's a total reclassification.
Exactly. Igaram asks if there's any escape for him now that he's defeated one of the 7 warlords. And that's the key. This isn't just for beating up some bad guys. This is a political act. He didn't just defeat a pirate, he defeated a government-sanctioned pirate.
He upset the balance of the 3 great powers. He took a warlord off the board. The Marines, the warlords, the 4 emperors. Luffy just directly challenged one of those pillars and proved it could be broken. That's an act of war, almost.
And the government had to respond. This bounty is their response. Crocodile's last known bounty was 81 million. Luffy has now surpassed that. The government is essentially admitting that this rookie from the East Blue is more dangerous than the warlord he replaced. It's a declaration that Monkey D. Luffy is a major enemy of the state.
And I think this is the first time the Admiral class of the Marines is even brought up. We don't know what it means yet, but it feels heavy. 100 million bounty probably gets the attention of the guys at the very top.
It's a critical piece of world building. Until now, the highest-ranking Marine we've properly engaged with is Captain Smoker. The mention of admirals implies a tier of power we haven't even seen yet, a level above the captains and commodores we've met. It suggests that there are monsters within the Marines powerful enough to deal with threats of this magnitude. The world just got a whole lot bigger and a whole lot more dangerous for the Straw Hat crew.
No kidding. 100 million and 60 million? These posters are going to be everywhere. They can't hide anymore. Every island they land on, someone is going to recognize them. Every bounty hunter in paradise is going to be coming for their heads.
Their journey just got exponentially harder. But that's the price of changing the world. You make powerful enemies.
This was a monster of a chapter. It had the highest highs with the crew's comedy and the most serious possible implications for the future. It's a masterclass in tone shifting.
It's a perfect transition chapter. It closes the book on Alabasta conflict while forcefully opening the door to the next stage of their journey on the Grand Line. They're no longer just another rookie crew. They are VIPs in the most dangerous sense of the word.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Before we get to what might be next, if you enjoyed this breakdown, a comment below goes a long way. Let us know what you think of Luffy's new bounty. Is it too high, too low, or just right for taking down a warlord?
All right, predictions for chapter 214. What do you have?
Okay, first, I think we're going to see the Marines' reaction in more detail. Smoker and Tashigi are still here. They're going to see these bounties and realize the kid they've been chasing is now officially a global threat. Smoker's not going to let this go.
That's a good one. For my first, I believe we will see the crew's escape plan. Nami said they have to leave tonight, so the next chapter has to be about the logistics of that. How do they get past the Marine blockade and get to the Going Merry?
Ooh, a stealth mission. I like it. For my second prediction, I think we'll see another warlord. The news of Crocodile's defeat has to be spreading. I bet we get a glimpse of Doflamingo or Mihawk or someone reacting to the news that one of their own has fallen.
That would be fascinating, seeing the political fallout among the warlords themselves. For my second, I think the central conflict of the next chapter will be Vivi's final decision. The crew is leaving tonight. She has to choose, stay and rebuild her kingdom or abandon her duty and sail with her friends. That choice is coming, and it's coming now.
Bro, that's heavy. You're probably right. For my final one, I think Bon Clay comes back. He's still out there somewhere in Alabasta. He helped them before, and they're going to need a distraction to escape the Marines. It feels like his role in this arc isn't quite over.
The return of Mr. 2, an interesting possibility. From my final prediction, I think we will see the farewell, but it won't be a simple goodbye. I believe Cobra will do something to officially aid their escape, putting himself and his kingdom at risk with the world government to repay his debt to the Straw Hats.
A king helping pirates escape. Now that would be a statement. Man, whatever happens, it's going to be big. The post-arc chapters are sometimes the best.
They set the stage for everything to come. The consequences are often as compelling as the conflict itself.